Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Cigar Store Idiots. I am Rob, and I have with me this morning, you are, sir.
Ed Butler.
What's going on, Ed?
Parenting, man.
Parenting.
That is the word of the week.
We are doing a little parenting in our house, too. So what you got going on at yours?
Man.
Maybe we can combine stories, and this will be like therapy this morning for both of us.
So Sunday, we had some family over, and there was going to be some couples come over, and we was going to play some games and let the kids play and all this. And it seems every time our boy gets around his cousins, he gets hurt or they get hurt.
Okay.
I mean, it's gotten to the point where, I mean, they're the oldest one's 10, Lou's 8, and the youngest, I think he's 4. I don't know what happens between them, but one of them had to have ball surgery.
What?
Well, Sunday. Oh yeah. This was previously in the past.
Oh,
one
okay.
of them has.
Okay.
They've been playing together. One of them gets so hurt he has to have testicle surgery. And
Yikes.
not like one of them good old home surgeries we've been talking about. This is an official one.
Y'all did not commission a gentleman on Craigslist.
But the thing is, it's a sad fact is they're not hard to find.
No, I know.
So Sunday we decided, hey, it's kind of cool today. We're gonna have to make a big pot of chili and have people over and all that good stuff. And Rob, they was there maybe 20 minutes till people got there. Lucas comes in the kitchen, and he's crying. He's very upset, and he's got blood on his arm.
Oh shit!
And I said, damn, Lou. I said, you cut your arm? I said, where you hurt at? He points to the top of his head. I looked at the top of his head, and it was so much blood that instead of going, hey Jessica, you need to check this out, I said, oh shit. Like I panicked.
Yeah,
like, oh shit, that's a lot of blood.
Which makes the kid go,
oh yeah,
I'm gonna die.
He's screaming hysterically at this point.
Yeah.
So I said, well, there's only one thing we can do here, and I said, well, we'll see y'all next time. So we went to the Cartersville emergency room, and he ended up getting a staple in the head.
Oh, nice.
And a CT scan, make sure there was no concussion or anything like that.
What? Did he get cracked in the head or something?
Apparently, jumping from his bed to his little nightstand, and I don't know how the hell this happens because it was on the top of his head. But he hit his head on the corner of the nightstand.
Shit.
I still don't know how he did it. I can't figure it out. I know there's blood on the carpet.
Was you in there with your yarn drawing off all the blood spatter?
It wasn't as much.
Injection of blood followed in this pattern.
It wasn't a Nicole Simpson amount of blood. But it was enough to startle me.
Yeah, for sure. I have never been one of those people that can stay calm in a crazy situation. I just haven't. Like I guess my adrenaline gets flowing and whatever.
Yeah.
But we went paddling in the river. We were kayaking in the Etowah, and we camped out, and we were on our way back. We're just in the middle of the river in summertime, and there's a group of people with us. And so I'm paddling along, and lucky me, I get to tow out everything on my kayak. Everything's tied to me because I have to paddle everything out. Yeah. And somebody goes, oh, there's a snake. Okay, so I fish a lot, so I'm very familiar with if it's a poisonous snake or it's non-venomous when they're swimming. Okay, if they're poisonous, they inflate their air bladder and they rake their heads out of the water like it's like this, like the Loch Ness monster. Okay, they don't submerge themselves underwater.
Yeah.
Water snake like just move like this.
Yeah. Their
head's in the water and they're just going. Well, poisonous snakes, all snakes really don't like to be cold. So a venomous snake, unless it's like a cottonmouth, they typically don't like to get in the water. So I turn around and look, and it's a copperhead. Its head's out of the water, and it's just like swimming along, and it's headed right for this chick's kayak, because it doesn't want to be in the water. Yeah. It doesn't know what the kayak is. It can't see colors. It just knows it's something that can get out of that cold ass water.
Yeah.
And I didn't stay calm. I said, holy fuck, that's a poisonous snake. Because that's the first thing I thought, because I'm towing all the shit on my kayak, and I'm thinking this thing's going to get on my kayak and chill, like what the stuff I'm towing, and it's going to crawl up there and bite me on the back. Yeah. And I'm like, don't let that motherfucker get on that stuff that I'm towing. And it gets closer and closer, and it starts trying to get on this chick's kayak. Okay, you think I was excited? She really got fucking excited. I'm talking, it sounded like a murder going on the river. She's screaming and she's about to jump in the water with it. And everybody's like, no, don't get in the water, don't get in the water. Take your paddle and brush it away, it'll go. It'll realize that you're just another log, and it'll get the hell out of there. So we started slapping the water with our paddles, because this girl obviously is not hearing anything we're saying.
Yeah.
If there was ever a time you could question a human being walking on water, she probably could have pulled it off. I mean, it would have been like some Bugs Bunny shit, running across the top of that river.
Yeah.
But luckily it swam away. So I'm not one that handle. So if we would have come in there and it had a bloody head, I would have flipped the fuck out on everybody.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God, call an ambulance, and I'd be like, call the priest in.
I lost my shit, man.
Yeah.
I
don't do well in those situations at all. At all. So
I had that freak out, and so of course, because COVID, we get to the ER, they're only gonna allow one in.
Yeah.
So they allowed Jessica in, of course, and so hell, I went back home and finished making the chili and cornbread, and so when they got out, dinner was made.
Yeah.
That was an exciting ass day, man.
Dude,
it's a blur.
Yeah. Well, kids get injured, man. They get injured doing the dumbest shit. Because I was a kid once, and I did get injured a lot. Trying to be funny.
Oh, dude, I broke both my arms at the same damn time.
What?
Oh, yeah, elementary school, I fell out of a swing. I'm not sure how the hell this happened, really.
What was that teacher's name?
Miss Cowan. She was about 65. She's hotter than fuck, man.
She's like, you little bastard.
Yeah, I am real hard, Miss Cowan. So,
Miss Cowan, I gotta go to the restroom. Can you help me? My arms are broken. Can you just take it out? Can you just hold it?
Just look at it for a second.
Does my goober scare you?
Because it should, because this is a crime lady.
Oh my God.
No matter what, you can look at a second grader.
You will help me. You've been looking at my penis.
We have a bond that can't be broken.
I will tell everybody. You start screaming in the bathroom like Cody. Stop looking at my dick.
That is still the funniest.
Dude, I tell that story all the time. It's crazy ass.
But so I don't know if I went to jump out. I had to have been trying to jump out the swing.
I mean, how are we not paralyzed in the shit we did when we were kids?
Dude,
because you remember, like, you would try to get that swing at the highest apex and just jump out.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting, like, I was going so high, and I was like, this is a bad idea, and then I didn't jump. So it was like, little girl, whatever. Yeah, that's the last thing I needed. So I remember we had a cargo net like they had in the Marines, and so we had like these two giant telephone poles, and then there's a telephone pole that goes across the top, and there's a cargo net, and this some bitch is full on like military grade cargo net, okay. And we're a good, I mean, you know how tall telephone poles are.
Oh, yeah.
They're probably good 10, 12 feet off the ground at the top of this thing. And our PE teacher was psychotic, crazy motherfucker. So he would like make us do the obstacle course because we had like staggered tires, and we would run, jump over them, and the big ones we weren't supposed to run under them. We were supposed to go over the top of them. I was a short kid, so I just ran under the biggest ones. So.
Yeah.
But we get to this cargo net, you climb up, and you're supposed to climb over, I'm talking 10, 12, 14 feet off the ground. There's no harnesses. Nobody's there to catch us. He's just standing there with a fucking whistle with his arms crossed, wearing his great smugglers and his socks pulled up to the top of his knees.
Dribble stains on the front of his shorts.
Yeah. So, like, we literally were having to climb this thing and go over the top of it. I climbed about halfway up, and I looked back at him, and I said, no, I'm done. And he's like, you got to go over the top. And I was like, no, I don't. And he's like, yes, you do. You go over the top. I was like, you can call my daddy. I ain't climbing over this. I was scared of heights when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But, and then we had another one, same setup, except it was tires that were like combined together. Like if you look at it, it looked like a Connect 4 board. Okay. The way the tires were set up. And we were supposed to climb the tires and go to the top. Well, they stopped doing that once a child got about halfway up and got attacked by a swarm of wasps that had built a nest inside these tires. There's only one way down fast, and that's fucking falling, and he fell. So, so all those activities were scratched for kickball. Thank God. Probably say, you know, we were tough little fuckers though.
Yeah.
But kids today,
dude, I remember being at
they're not doing that. That's where I went to school.
You did? You went to McHenry too?
I did. Cardinal, Redbird, son.
Yeah, me too, man. Represent. Hell yeah, Rob. So, so McHenry,
that's really not anything to be proud of.
It really is.
Where this school was.
Made us tough though.
It did. I had a 16-year-old in my 5th grade class. If you want to fucking know how tough we was over there, that's no lie. The teacher's yelling at him to do his work, and he's like, I remember this clear as day. He's like, bitch, I'm 16 in another month. I'm quitting. I ain't doing shit. And then we're all scared because we're in the 5th grade.
Wow.
And then she kicks him out. Of course, he gets kicked out of class, and then they go ahead and let him just be done because he was 16 in the 5th grade.
That's insane.
Yeah. Kids out there smoking. They're like hiding cigarettes in the fucking tires, smoking cigarettes.
And that kid was none other than Danny Trejo. But you remember the playground?
Yes.
At McHenry.
Yeah.
It was a chain link fence covered in brush and stuff that went around the trailer park.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Man, I can remember. Dude, I remember certain spots on that huge field. This huge field, old equipment.
Yep.
And then there was just this huge. It was probably like the equivalent of 3 football fields in length.
Yeah.
That just had nothing on it, but. This fence surrounded the whole playground, and there was a trailer park back in there, and that trailer park's kind of rough.
Yeah.
Dude, I can remember being on the playground, teachers telling us if we found something on the playground, don't pick it up. And dude, I remember seeing like needles out there.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
And
it's bad over there.
It was
bad.
And I remember like you could. And I don't
imagine
know.
it's probably way worse now too.
Oh, I'm sure. It was so crazy to look through that fence, man. I remember looking at that fence and sometimes you see kids.
That weren't at school. No.
It is crazy.
Look, I'll tell you, I got one time we were playing baseball. We used to go over there and play baseball. I think I was 14 and I had a cousin that could drive, and so we drove over there to play baseball. Well, we were kids, and the grown-ups from the trailer park would come over and play. But we'd have a good pickup game of baseball.
Yeah.
Until a kid my age took a line drive to the face from a 25-year-old man's bat. Ooh. This dude's hitting with a kid's bat. I mean, he ain't.
Yeah.
He don't have but the kid's pitching, throws him a fastball, and he sends it right back up the middle. And if you ever seen Will Smith in Hitched, where he gets allergic to those,
and his shit
swells up.
Yeah.
That's why this kid looked for like a month and a half.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It crushed his orbital bone. It's crazy.
Jesus.
Wow. And then this is the last time we were there. We were playing baseball. And some dude got in a fight with his girlfriend, and he proceeds to. Do you remember where the old gym was on top of the hill?
Yep.
He parked his car up there on top of that hill. So they get in this huge argument or whatever, and he goes and gets in his car, and he's sitting up there, and he's like revving up the motor. And we're all just still playing baseball because we're not thinking anything about it. Next thing I know, he's fucking flying off that hill, like chasing her in his car, like gonna run her over. And my mom was like, "That's it, you're not going."
Wow.
Y'all are done. He caught a moment of clarity and did not run her over, but I thought it was like a murder-suicide deal where he's going to kill everybody. We're all going to be a speed bump out here in the middle of this field. So.
That's what you think whenever, something's like, he's coming for us.
When you hear somebody say, I don't want to live anymore, you better find somewhere safe to get real quick. Because shit is going south.
Because if he don't give a shit about himself, he don't give a fuck about you.
I'm taking you all. I'm taking all of you with me. All of you. So we're going to lead in with our McHenry playground stories to the none other than the moment we all been waiting for. The What the Florida.
Oh, I love this segment.
What the Florida. A Florida man rides a manatee and dares police to arrest him. He gets arrested.
No shit.
It is illegal to harass a manatees in Florida, but didn't stop James Roy Massengale Jr., 47, from jumping on a Florida manatee in a creek. He met some aquatic friends and decided that he wanted to, caddy around in the creek with this thing. And he jumps on the back and he's like, I'm riding it. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation officials arrived to find the reaching for, touching, and lying over the top of a manatee in a creek. Was he just trying to ride the manatee?
Nah, he trying to fuck that.
Maybe we need to set him up with the chick and the dolphin. Oh my God. Again, informed that it was illegal, Massengill reportedly began chanting, "Take me to jail," over and over again. Unsurprisingly, the officers did take him to jail.
They will oblige you.
Massengill's adventure stuck him in jail with a $25,000 bond, mainly for being uncooperative. So they were more upset with him about being obstructing justice than breaking the law. But just in case, if you go to Florida and you just get an urge to ride a manatee, know it's illegal, and it will land you in jail. Especially if you look at the cops and go, "Take me to jail."
Look, all right, that aside, I gotta defend this guy. That aside, if he were cooperative, I'm saying, you know, there's a lot of what ifs out there.
There's a lot of what ifs.
If this guy was cooperative, they probably wouldn't have charged him with much of anything. They
They'd
had
should
to
let
have
him go.
been looking for something to get him with
Yeah.
at that point when he's being uncooperative. And it's always a motherfucker with three names, ain't it?
It is.
John Anthony Massengill Jr.
Yeah.
Always a motherfucker
It
with
is.
3 names.
It is. It's for God's sake, behave yourself.
Yeah, stop going by all of your names.
Yeah. Don't you know how long it takes me to write this police report out, you dickhead? I'm just gonna call him Steve.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what his license says.
Dude, that whole name change process is interesting anyway. I don't know if you know much about it.
I'm about to find out about it.
Oh yeah,
I got a month to go, so yeah.
Well,
Brittany was telling me that I should change my last name, and I was like, "No, man, that ain't happening."
Really?
Yeah, she's kidding though. She
Yeah.
better be, because that ain't gonna happen.
That is a tough one. There are dudes out there that do that.
They do. They do.
I don't know. That's a wild one, ain't it?
You think those dudes get pegged?
Man, it'd have to be some kind of. You're a little submissive somehow.
You're giving up your last name. Are you giving up the booty?
Think about that. In the 1600s, a dude did that. I mean, the townspeople be like, "Oh,
Yeah, we know what's going down.
oh
today.
yeah, definitely. This
She's
guy's
going to be the queen.
Yeah.
This motherfucker is not the king. So.
Oh yeah, these people are certainly using a broom handle for more than just sweeping off the front porch. This is this thing's doubling as something else.
I mean, yeah, we stir the Brunswick stew with it. We do. We flip it over and stir it. We poke the dog when it's too close to the fire.
I get that whole thing. If you're a celebrity, not taking the last name. If you've built your career off
your name,
sure,
really.
that
Makes
do some
total
shit.
sense.
But motherfucker, if you ain't famous and
You work at the Piggly Wiggly?
yeah, just pick up my last name and let's keep this thing going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that big a deal. I feel like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. There is definitely a stigma about the male taking the female's last name.
Apparently it happens.
It does happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you listening, Jessica, that shit ain't happening here. Love you.
I mean, love you, man. So today's episode, we run across these stories that I feel like need to be told. I send these out to Ed and Otto and Andrew, and I was like, "Hey, is this one fair to talk about?" And we usually are in agreement that it's fucked up and it needs to be told. So today we want to talk about our centerfold pinup girl, the secret life of Bettie Page. Bettie Page. No relation to Diamond Dallas Page, I don't think, the pro wrestler.
Unfortunately.
But I heard she had a seriously mean diamond cutter. That's what I heard say. Suddenly after disappearing from the spotlight in 1957, Bettie Page's life later was shrouded in mystery, but then she resurfaced years later in a series of violent scandals.
Which I had no idea about.
Me neither. And I'll tell you, when they say serious violent offenses, it don't get more violent than Bettie Page.
Hell no, it don't.
Thought Bettie Page was the most famous post-war pinup girl in American history. Her later life proved to be far less glamorous, and by the end of the 50s, the most photographed model of the 20th century had become a total shut-in. Okay. let's dig into Bettie Page.
Hell yeah. I mean, she was, in her prime, she was gorgeous, man.
Yeah, she was beautiful. She was.
I mean, she was, she was on airplanes and everything else. Like
she was doing it all.
Yeah.
Page's introduction to the limelight was unusual. She went from being a homecoming queen to an aspiring Hollywood starlet, but her one and only screen test was an utter bust. She was terrible. She couldn't act her way out of a paper sack. So the director offered to quote unquote, let's have a meeting after hours about this role, which she declined. But her stardom was faded, and she ultimately made her mark in New York City, where beatnik photographers like Irvin Claw made her famous with bondage photos. If you're not familiar with a BDSM, then don't feel bad about yourself.
Yeah,
if you are familiar with it, I mean, you could seek some counseling.
Yeah, I'm garbage, and I knew about it. But if you don't know about this, just you're probably just a really nice person.
What is it? It's bondage, dominate, and sadomasochism.
Sadomasochism.
Yeah, so it's not really a good time, I don't think.
It's not.
But depending on what you like to do, I mean,
I'm just not into somebody getting tied up,
I
beat on.
Yeah, that's wild.
Sure, piss on me, fine, but you do something.
I will kill you.
Yeah.
When I get these ropes off of me and this candle out of my ass, somebody's getting beat to death. So, between 1949 and 1957, 20,000 mail order photos of her bondage costumes were taken, drawing attention to the ambitious United States Senator who launched an investigation on pornography that impacts the life of the youths. They've always been after the porn business.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody knows porn's in the woods. That's where you find it. You find it in a box in the woods.
Or in your dirty uncle's trunk.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, he's but it's all weird shit.
It is. What is this pig mask doing in the trunk? And are we using this duct tape for anything important? So, the investigation uncovered a scandal that marred Page's career, as she shortly thereafter vanished from New York City scene for good. But tragically, her troubles as a recluse had only just begun. So let's go to the rise and fall of Bettie Page, the pinup queen. Okay, Edward.
I don't understand, like, how you just this switch gets flipped. And I mean, she had a really rough childhood.
Yeah.
So her parents split when she was very young. At the age of 10, they're sent to foster care.
Mm-hmm.
They return, and her father molests her.
Which I don't think there's anything worse that could happen to a child.
Absolutely not.
Than to be molested by your parent. If you want to unwire a human being permanently, that's probably one of the most heinous, cruel,
absolutely
unrecoverable things that can happen.
And let me clarify that those people that commit those acts, the penalty should be death.
Oh yeah, immediate death.
Immediate.
No
death.
Court case.
Yeah, you get no trial. I
No.
mean, that's one thing we can't take a chance on one of these assholes getting back out into society and hurt another child.
You can't reform it.
No, you can't.
Just can't.
And that will absolutely ruin a person for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And
So you kind of see,
yeah.
it made sense. It made
Yeah.
sense. Born in April 22nd, 1923. That's a long time ago.
Hell yeah.
In Kingsport, Tennessee, not Kentucky, Tennessee. Bettie Mae Page was the second of 6 children, and they did not have it easy. As you were saying, the dad was a mechanic. During the Great Depression, that salary was not, it was a non-existent salary at that time. The father had trouble paying all the bills, and of course they were divorced, and the children had to go stay in an orphanage for a year. So like you said, she had moved back under his roof. It didn't say what age.
I thought it said 10.
When she moved back, when
Okay.
she left the orphanage, or she went to the orphanage at 10, but then she moved back, only for a year, so she was 11. So she was 11. Despite, moving back, she had begun to be molested by her dad, as you had stated. And despite all that, she excelled at Nashville's Hume Fogg College, Hume Fogg High School. You want to talk about fog? Get that second COVID virus shot. My head's been in a fog ever since. And that's no lie, not trying to be funny. Not trying to scare you out to take that either, but it is what it is. She became the homecoming queen and garnered a scholarship to George Peabody College. There was a college there. And she graduated in 1943 and married her high school sweetheart, Billy Neal, and they moved to San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're going from Tennessee,
Little old Tennessee, town in Tennessee,
to San Francisco, to the limelight, the big time. So Page modeled on the side and worked as a secretary by day, as she failed her first screen test in Los Angeles for being unfaithful to her spouse. So she may have did a good job acting. You know, she may have been pulling it off. And the guy, he was just trying to pull off her clothes.
Yep.
So he was like, you can be great or you can suck, but if you want to get naked, then this role is yours.
And back then, in that time, a woman did that outside of marriage, man, she was shunned.
Oh,
I mean,
for
that
sure.
was
Scarlet letter for
career.
real, yeah. And what was her statement she made?
I thought this was so awesome. She said that, look, I will sleep with someone to get what I want and get where I want to get, but I'm not sleeping with everyone.
Yeah, but wonder how ugly this son of a bitch was.
Had to be rough.
She declined that straight up. So ultimately, Page divorced Neal in 1947. And just a year later, she moved to New York City and she met Jerry Tibbs. And Jerry was the one that actually changed her life. He was a cop by day and a photographer by night. Tibbs first saw Page on Jones Beach in Long Island in 1949, and he urged her to pose nude for his camera club, and she agreed. Why couldn't we have came up with something like that? So I have a camera club, and I would like for you to take your clothes off and let me take pictures.
Maybe people's in it. It's just me and
It's
you.
just me and you. That's it. That's all. It's a club. It's fine.
Yeah.
We have a 501(c)(3).
Yeah, we're very exclusive.
We're exclusive. So exclusive that if you tell anybody, you will go miss it. So, since she made it in the pages of magazines like Wink and Flirt, but her 1955 Playboy centerfold brought her career to the next level. The shoot garnered the attention of Irving Claw, a pinup king photographer who specialized in the bondage shoots, which saw models tied up with rope and leather. So this pervert, do I call him a pervert? Do I call him a...
No, you try.
Yeah. We're not going to give him any other thought. He photographed Page this way and sent thousands of 4x5 photos across the country, making her pinup star overnight. But her pictures didn't excite everyone, as we had alluded to earlier. We have Senator Estes Kefauver. Is that fair?
Yeah. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, he's trying to ruin everybody's good time. So.
Dickhead.
The photographers like Claw were a bad influence and degrading. Okay, here's where we get to it. Kefauver formed a subcommittee on a juvenile delinquent to investigate how bad the influence they were found in the case of a man named Clarence Graham, who said his son was influenced by Page and the photos of her being tied up, and he hung himself. Okay. Investigation saw Claw subpoenaed in 1955. Claw corroborated with his friend Eric Stanton and said, "It was the only time I ever saw Betty upset. She was horrified at the prospect of having to testify against her friends. She was spared much of the proceedings that laid the teenage suicide to her feet." So there we go. It's the same. It's the Marilyn Manson thing.
I was
same
gonna
thing.
say that.
So his music and his videos cause mass shootings or cause people to commit suicide or cause people to commit murders. No, sometimes your kid needs help.
That's right.
Your kid needs help outside of you and your wife or the family. It needs professional help. And it's a shame that you have these politicians with an agenda, imagine that, and they're trying to get their name in the light. Well, they're just trying to get a rub off of whatever's popular. So you got these senators coming after Marilyn Manson just because he's got this huge name. They're trying to attach themselves to it, so it brings more light into what they do.
Exactly.
Same thing happened here. Same thing. So
this was done because this guy wanted to get reelected.
yeah, Yeah, 100%.
And it is just like the Marilyn Manson thing. It's like that band Stained. They had a fan commit suicide, and they actually had to go to court about that shit too. And that was in the 2000s.
Yeah.
So back in the 40s and 50s, this happening to Bettie Page, man, they ruined her for this.
They did. It ruined her. It ruined her whole thing that she was doing.
All because she was attractive and had photos made, and some mentally ill person committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, it's insane. It's not the people. It's your fucking child that needs help.
Yeah, it's the parenting and the child that needed help.
Exactly.
Imagine this: Florida man Clarence Graham, okay, he's from Florida, testified that his dead son Kenneth was found hanging by his knees and his neck. Could he tie himself up like that?
That's weird.
That's a little weird.
Sounds like he knows how to use rope.
Sounds like somebody knew how to tie him up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever try to tie yourself up? Don't answer that.
I wanted to see what all this David Carradine shit was about.
I had on blush, really cheap lipstick, eyeliner, and a pair of pantyhose.
My mom's favorite spring dress.
That was a close one. I almost didn't snap back.
I almost got caught with all this shit on.
The committee's special counsel, Vincent, man, I should really read all these things before we start recording. Gahan led him to confirm that the position was wholly inspired by Claw's BDSM photos of Page, where the photographer left in ruins as a result, and Page leaving town. So they ruined the photographer's career. They run Bettie Page out of town. She's gone. And that's when the violent crimes started happening. Okay?
It seems every time she got ahead in life, she fell somebody either pulled her or she fell 2 steps back.
That's the Paul Abdul song.
Yeah.
What is it? 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. Don't take pictures of Bettie Page's crap. All right. Kavaver plans to raise his play was to go through the political ranks. Okay, it failed. Page left New York for quieter pastures. She moved to Florida. See, that was a mistake right there. She moved to Florida, where an experience at a multiracial Baptist church on New Year's Eve saw her born again. In 1957, she was born again, so she gets saved.
The year my dad was born. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
She only had remarried, but divorced very quickly, and remarried for a third time in 1967, together with her third and final spouse, Harry Lear, and Bettie Page's mental health truly began to deteriorate. Harry, get the fuck out of there. Don't try to put the pieces back in the puzzle, because they don't fit. With an uncontrollable burst of anger, Page ran through a Boca Raton ministry retreat with a .22 caliber pistol in January 1972. In April, she forced her children and husband to pray to Jesus at knife point.
I mean, look.
Speak up!
Look,
I can't hear you!
We need religion in these homes.
That is a pretty forceful way to get your message across. She was committed to Jackson Memorial Mental Hospital for 4 months as a result. She voluntarily recommitted herself, and she said the cornbread is still gooey in the middle. I'm going back in. I'm not fully cooked yet. She recommitted herself in October, during which she left under suicide watch. At this time, and I'm not making fun of mental illness, I'm really not. It's a real thing, and it's a huge problem in our country, in the world. I'm not trying to make light of it, but sometimes I'm just stupid and silly. It was around 1987 that Lear decided to separate from Page and return to California, and she returned to California to be closer to her brother.
It took him long enough.
It was not a good idea. My brother was like, shit, what am I gonna do? This bitch is trying to kill people at church. She can't live here. What if I leave the toilet seat up?
Yeah.
Well, she'll let you know about it.
Absolutely.
You're gonna find out. You're gonna learn today. So, But her proximity to her family did not help her mental status. After an argument with her landlady, during which she assaulted the landlady with a knife, Page was diagnosed as schizophrenic and sent to Patton Hospital, State Hospital, for 20 months. That's a long damn time.
Yeah, it is.
About 2 years. You done missing 2 Christmases. Her next episode would be the worst, however. And this is the one that I can't believe didn't land her in prison.
Yeah.
It didn't land her in prison because the details of the attack will vary. Some claim that Page repeatedly stabbed another one of her landladies multiple times and even managed to cut off one of her fingers and slice her face from the mouth up to her ear. Want to know how I got these scars? Bettie Page didn't want to pay her rent.
Look, I mean, if you got a job as a landlord, you gotta expect to get a little bit of resistance. I mean, I mean, walk in the park.
If you don't go fix that leaky fucking sink, I'm coming back. And when I come back, heads will roll.
Yeah.
Heads will roll.
Yeah. Boy, I mean,
and I'm gonna cut your pinky toe off.
All I'm saying is there is a possibility there was black mold in the house. The landlord wasn't addressing it. Betty got sick. It affected her mentally, and which she can't be blamed for the actions of this negligent landlord.
All I can say is diligency goes a long ways.
It sure does.
In the landlord game.
And courtesy does too.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't give a shit if you got 100 naked pictures of you. I ain't fixing that leaky faucet. Oh, I beg to differ.
Man, Miss Page, what am I going to do with 20 fucking postcards with your naked picture on them? This isn't payment for rent.
This is not adequate wallpaper for a nursery. Get the fuck out of here. Can I keep this one? Just this one. The victim suffered. The victim survived. She suffered as well.
Yeah.
But she did survive, and the judge found Page innocent by reason of insanity.
Damn.
All right. Well, that's how we doing it.
Yeah.
Back in 1992.
That's it.
Oh no, wait. She was sentenced to 10 years in the same California hospital, but then she was released in 1992. Bettie Page suddenly found herself an unwitted icon in a new era. This is what's gonna blow your mind. Everything that I'm telling you is crazy, but what I'm about to tell you is gonna blow your damn mind. In Bettie Page's absence, the public grew increasingly curious about her. So much that, in fact, the Penthouse magazine offered anyone that could prove that she was dead or alive $1,000. While Bettie Page was busy wrestling with her mental health, a whole new generation had taken note of her. I mean, she wasn't hard to look at.
Mm-mm.
Her photos had inspired an illustrator named David Stevens, who molded a popular comic book character after her as the Rocketeer. I didn't know that. Page managed to collect royalties from Stevens upon its release, and subsequent attention she received from the comics landed her story in a segment of popular show, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. What?
Wow.
You say rich and famous. Bettie Page's net worth before she died was a whopping $20 million.
That is insane.
$20 million.
That is insane.
She didn't take any pictures since the 50s. Like, she's all the way, oh, well, let's get you some residuals, get some royalties. $20 million, dude. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to start running through these church revival tents with a 22. And I'm going to make my family pray with a knife point. And I hope at some point what I'm doing now is going to be worth $20 million down the road.
Rob, first of all, you're going to have to take some really compromising photos of yourself in leather and...
I'm out. Fuck it, I'm out. After living in Social Security benefits and royalties, Page ultimately died of a heart attack on December the 11th of 2008 after being hospitalized with pneumonia days earlier. So, from an impoverished Tennessee girl to an iconic 1950s model who helped usher in the sexual revolution of the 60s, Bettie Page lived